For now, let's move on to rugby action. The Bulls will look to get their Champions Cup campaign back on track and avenge a heavy loss when they welcome Exeter Chiefs to Pretoria on Saturday night. Now, the hosts will look to play a fast-paced game at altitude on a rock-solid surface in a quest to continue their winning momentum from last week's impressive away URC victory over the Dragons.
There is a sign in the Loftus Tunnel, probably the last thing visiting teams see before they run onto the field, that reads, altitude, 1,350 meters. It matters. Playing this high above sea level is always a challenge, lung-busting, especially for coastal teams. The air is a lot thinner. This is one of the main areas in which the Bulls will look to use their advantage when they welcome Exeter Chiefs in their much-anticipated Champions Cup clash.
A lot's been said about altitude. Altitude does make a difference, obviously, for us. And then the next thing is obviously the heat, you know. We're not very familiar playing this time of year. I mean, this whole week it's been 35, 36 degrees, so it's been nice and warm. It's crazy to even train midday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's crazy to train that time because it takes so much out of the body. But yeah, these sort of conditions will definitely help you if you're used to them and you're training in them. As the same goes when you're training in 5, 6, 7 degrees temperature and it's raining. If you can train in those conditions, it's going to help you. So absolutely, it makes a massive difference, and we'll try to use it to our advantage.
The foundation of last week's dominant display was laid by a solid Bulls pack over the Dragons. The hosts will be looking to their tight five to replicate their performance and help give their lethal strike runners much needed front ball.
For me personally, I think the front rows, they find each other. You will see when they're not playing. The more they play, the more better they get. A front row does not want to have a weekend off. He wants to play. And the more they play, the better they get. And the more they play as a unit, the better they get. So it's really tough when a front row, when a front row goes well, you find it really hard to want to swap them because games are won and lost in a scrum. And I think it's massive that we find that depth and that cohesion, but without tampering too much.
The Bulls come into the game with the lowest rate of gain line success in the tournament so far at 39%. The two sides have met once in the Champions Cup, with the visitors holding the upper hand in that stat. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Khotso Sello in Johannesburg.